Hi everybody, just working on a Mercedes C-Class W203 model, year 2007, C220 CDI, and there's a lot of videos on YouTube on how to remove the radiator on a C-Class, but I'm thinking they must be petrol because they don't just, the diesel ones, they don't just lift out once you've opened all the top end off. They're actually interconnected with the turbo intercooler at the bottom there. So I had to actually remove the bumper to detach it from the intercooler around the bottom, because there's no other way of getting access to that area. And I will show you on how to detach that once I've actually removed the radiator. Right, so I've had to actually take the intercooler off, reason being there's a lot of bracketry, plastic bracketry that is connected to the actual radiator. The radiator kind of slots over this bracket here, but this one at the bottom here, that's actually got kind of a hook at the bottom which pushes into the plastic ends of the radiator on either end. There's one there as well, and at the top, the one that slides in. So you can't just lift the radiator out. The bumper has to be removed, the intercooler has to be removed, which what I did was to remove the radiator. This is the one that hooks in. That's where it hooks into this top bracket here, and the bottom one actually pushes into that gap there at the bottom of the radiator. So they're all interconnected, the radiator, the intercooler, and the aircon condenser as well. So on a C220 CDI, this cannot be just lifted out. You have to actually remove the bumper and remove the intercooler to get the radiator out. So you can see now the radiator is out, the intercooler is out, the aircon condenser is still in, which means I haven't lost any refrigerant because I haven't had to disconnect it or anything. And I'll show you in a minute how the radiator actually interlocks into the intercooler with the aircon condenser in between, and it is impossible to lift it out from the top without removing the intercooler from the radiator. So this is the radiator out of the car now, C-Class C220 W203 model 2007. In the car, this side would be on the left hand side facing the engine, and that would be the right hand side. So this is where your transmission fluid gets cooled through the radiator, and this is the actual reason I'm changing it, is because that's failed and the transmission fluid is mixing with engine coolant. And I'll just show you now where the intercooler interlocks into the radiator, which is the reason you won't be able to remove this alone. You would have to remove the bumper first, disconnect then disconnect the intercooler from the radiator, and then pull the radiator out. So this part here, that actually slots into the intercooler, which just lifts out. This section here is where the intercooler actually locks into the radiator, and the same on this side. So the radiator goes into there and locks into the bottom there, the intercooler, sorry. And it is impossible to lift just the radiator alone without dismantling the intercooler from the radiator. And sandwiched in between these two are the AC condenser. So this is the reason I'm thinking AC condenser, the intercooler and the radiator are designed to be removed together as a pack. But because I didn't want to mess around with the AC condenser, losing refrigerant and then refilling it, there is a way around it. You have to remove the bumper, remove the intercooler from the radiator, leave the AC condenser in the middle, and then just lift out the radiator. And I hope this helps. And this video is also to prove that it's not only the valeo radiators that fail with the transmission cooler inside them. This is actually a Behr radiator, which is supposed to be one of the good ones, and it's failed.